Welcome to Joyful Money, the podcast where we focus on making money fun and joyful. We're done with the stress and anxiety that typically come with money. This podcast will teach you how to make money, lots and lots of it, and still be joyful, happy, abundant, and fulfilled. Because let's face it, money is just a small part of life. Are you ready to add more joy to your money? In. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I have the amazing Emily. By the way, everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Joy Rowland, and I help female entrepreneurs to scale their businesses leveraging AI. And today, I have the honor and privilege of having someone's very, 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 very special. Not only is she my friend, she is, oh, hello, the Vol
Hey,
virtual
Selena.
agent.
Yes, that's the wonderful Selena.
Emily is just amazing. Like, she's a superwoman and she's going to share some amazing insights with us. She is the Supercharge Coach. Welcome, 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 Emily.
Thank you so very much, Joy. I appreciate being with you today.
Awesome. Now, the reason I'm so excited, like people can see me grinning from side to side, is because we are going to get some nuggets from you. I've had the privilege of knowing you for a couple of months now, and your content, the way you show up, the results you get for your clients is just top notch. And so I wanted us to just jump on here so we can give people some of these insights we have, because as you know, many people struggle to make their businesses successful. So first of all, introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it's my name is again Emily McHugh, the Supercharge Coach, and people ask me what is supercharging, and it's all about the combination of the time and energy that entrepreneurs need to put into their business and how to so-called balance that. And I use the word balance with great caution, but being realistic about the fact that it is how you most effectively and efficiently use your time and energy. And so helping entrepreneurs with that process. I'm also an author, and I will share the author of The Little Girl's Guide to Entrepreneurship, which is now backwards on the screen.
Wow.
But it is, the subtitle is What I Know Now That I Wish I Knew Then. And this is the basis of my whole Supercharge coaching and my membership, the Supercharge Club, for aspiring entrepreneurs and creative, multi-passionate entrepreneurs who need to learn how to focus and know where to spend their time and energy. So
So,
that's
so just so we are clear, this book is available on Amazon, correct?
yes, it is. It is on Amazon.
Okay. Okay. So we'll be dropping the link, ladies, so you can grab a copy. Like, just grab it because I'm very sure copies are going to fly off the shelf. So, Emily, statistics show us that only about 5% of businesses succeed. That's the green statistic, right? Many people dabble into business, one leg in, one leg out. They have a 9 to 5 job, and so they are not showing up fully and committedly in their businesses. So, what advice would you give to women who are trying to set up a business, but deep down they know they are not 100% in because they have a 9 to 5 job, they have that security of a job, and yet they still want to make their businesses successful so that they can build the dream life they want for themselves and their families? So, how would you encourage such people to make their businesses successful?
The first thing is just to have great clarity of your purpose. Like, why am I doing? We all know about, know your why, but really be very clear on why you're doing what you're doing. Like, why am I going to put myself through the agony of starting a business?
Yeah.
Is it truly going to be worth it to me? And also coming to terms with the reality of what entrepreneurship is. Unfortunately, we see a lot of images of glamour and wealth and all this stuff, which is really a modicum, a modest, really very finite aspect of this thing. Most entrepreneurs work extremely hard, are not wealthy necessarily, do not reach those levels of success. So I think there's a false expectation of what this really means. So understanding what your journey could look like, understanding, getting your expectations in order, then you don't get disappointed if you don't receive certain results when you expect it because, oh, aren't I supposed to be a millionaire by now? Or isn't this supposed to be easy? No, it's actually going to be harder than your job.
Yeah.
But it will be very fulfilling if you're doing it in the purpose that you have and you feel like you are fulfilling your purpose, because that compensation right there can make up, at least initially, for the fact that you may not have the monetary part as well. And knowing that you have to do a lot of upfront work before you necessarily do see the monetary rewards. So knowing that that's normal, then you can adjust your thoughts and your energy. Well, you won't be going up and down with disappointment, excitement, disappointment, excitement. You can level it out. That's that supercharging thing. How do I level it out? And
I love
so,
that so much. I love that so much. And you touched on something very, very important there as you were speaking, which is alignment. Because many times we see business people, entrepreneurs online trying different things because they've heard this business guru say this, and they're trying different things. And when they show up online, you can actually see that what they are attempting to do is not in alignment with themselves. Like it's almost like they're forcing themselves to pretend to be somebody else because they think that that's what will actually give them the success they're looking for. So how would you teach people to stop following all the shiny objects? Like I know you call this, and we've discussed this before, the shiny object syndrome. Just doing this strategy today, and then a business coach says this tomorrow, you're going to try this strategy. How do people, because in my experience, those who succeed in business are people who have their blinders on, right? You keep your focus and you stay in the game. People who succeed stay in the game, they are consistent, and they do the same thing over and over and over again to become successful. So how do you teach your clients to follow one strategy long enough to get the results they're looking for?
okay, so realizing that there are obviously many ways to do things. Everyone has their perspective and their opinion and their experience. And I think it's very important that when you're, especially when you're starting out, actually at any stage of business, that you keep reading people's journeys, reading autobiographies, reading how other people did what they do. Like last year, I read the Steve Jobs book about his life and how he did a lot of things that he did. And it was very intriguing to just get into his head to see how he approached certain problems or so forth. So no one person has it all figured out. Even the most successful billionaire, whatever entrepreneurs, they still have struggles. They still need to get help too. So don't think it ends just because you reach a certain level. Anyway, with that being said, you have to have a sense of trusting your own instincts as well. Like if someone says something to you that you feel that doesn't sit well with me, or as you were saying, align with what I believe to be true to myself or my purpose, then I will shift away from that and go to where I'm more inclined in terms of information that you feel really help you. So as far as how I would work with a client on this path, I would say you have to just filter. Now, I know you use the term blinders on. You need focus, but at the same time, you have to be flexible to accept new information, open to challenging what you think might be the right path, which may not be. And so, but it still, that doesn't mean you're still not focused. You're just opening up the channel so that you can explore maybe other ways it could work if something isn't working, or how it could work better or faster or whatever. So you're open to that, but you're still focused on what you're trying to do. And you also surround yourself with people who have experience of actually having done it. And they have a little bit more, maybe more weight, carry more weight with what they're saying because they have a real life example or something that can show you. So, but even then, never abdicate your common sense. I don't care how many coaches you get. Use your own brain and think straight for your own self, because you have to do that.
Yeah, people don't believe in themselves enough and to trust their intuition.
Yes.
They always think the answer lies outside of themselves. Like I see this with a lot of women, and I think it takes a process to teach people to trust themselves again, trust your intuition, trust your experience, trust your skills, trust that you have everything you need to be super successful. I like what you said about surrounding yourself with people who are doing or have done what you're doing, because I know this from my experience. Being in masterminds actually sharpens my belief. Seeing someone doing or who has done what I'm trying to do, like that's the best thing for me. So I want to ask you, as entrepreneurs, we wear many hats to make our businesses successful, especially at the start. We are solopreneurs. Now, how do you teach your clients? How do you encourage someone who says, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I have to do the operations. I have to do the lead generation. I have to do the marketing, the sales, the customer service, the delivery, the coaching. I have to do all of these things in my business. I am overwhelmed. What would you tell such a person if the person is listening to us right now?
First of all, take themselves a little deep breath. That would be a very good start. Yeah. Because all those things that you mentioned indeed are so. And someone is tugging at your coattails all the time when you're business, especially if it's starting to pick up, or even if it's not, they're still calling you to sell something to you. So there's always some demand for the entrepreneur's attention. With that being said, that goes back to the whole focus thing. You have to have your priorities really clear. You have to really understand what the sequence of events. And when all those things start to happen at one time, you might like, but it's all urgent and it's all important. It isn't. And why is that? Because some things can wait. So let's say you have to submit a form that needs to go in and you'd like to send it today, but you don't have time today. It's due on such and such a date. Okay, well, it will be done by that date and you don't have to think about it anymore until you sit out on the date and deal with it. The thing that is maybe due like tomorrow, that you're going to focus on now. So you really, when you step back, you have more perspective. And those are some of the tools that I kind of created because those are the situations I find clients in. They need to know how to focus. So I have a free gift on how to focus, overcoming the shiny object.
Yes, link will be available, right? So people can download that because I've seen that and it's such a good freebie you've done.
Yeah, thank you. It's emilymchugh.com/free gift. Yes. And when they do that, they get the How to Focus Toolkit, how to overcome shiny object syndrome. And it's just really some reminders and some tips to keep yourself when you get caught up and then get anxious because things are happening, which is normal. So understanding it's a normal process, but you really have to step back and take control. And don't let people dominate your schedule. So just because the phone is ringing doesn't mean you have to answer it. Just because someone just emailed you doesn't mean you have to respond to them in 5 minutes, unless it really needs that kind of attention. You know, you have to use your judgment. But we tend to be more reactionary to people. So remember that we have to be proactive about what our goals are. You react to other people once you have proactively dealt with your goals. So what tends to happen is someone jumps up on your schedule, but you had a plan of what you need to do because you've already pre-scheduled that. And then you're like, oh, let me put what I'm going to do on hold, do this. Then another person comes on, let me do that. Next thing, your goal is nowhere near being addressed. So before you allow someone on in your timeline, make sure that you still can cover your bases for that goal that you have. You don't lose that focus. And that insertion doesn't derail where you're going. So those are some of the things that help you to prioritize your activities and calm down.
Yeah, I love that so much. And for me personally, I want to suggest that as entrepreneurs, as we grow, we have to be ready to let go of control of every single aspect of our business. Because what I'm finding now as I'm growing is I can hire help. I've just this week actually hired 2 virtual assistants, and they're taking a lot of the work, which I love, which I don't like as an entrepreneur. I can delegate those tasks to them. And guess what? These 2 VAs love doing these jobs. Like, so as a coach, as an entrepreneur, be ready when you're ready to become the CEO of your business. Be ready to let go of control. For example, lead generation. You can outsource your lead generation. You can leverage ChatGPT. You can leverage AI automation to your advantage. And I like to tell people, I like to tell my clients, you are not going to lose your business to AI, but you're going to lose your business to businesses who have embraced AI.
Yes.
So,
okay.
So that's one thing I want people to think about.
Yes.
So Emily, I absolutely love all of the things you've said. So someone is listening to you right now and saying, okay, how do I move forward? I have been stuck for a couple of months. I'm not making any progress in my business. How do I get the momentum going?
When you're stuck, different reasons cause us to be stuck for whatever it may be. Sometimes challenges just with your life, family obligations. So we always want to be realistic about what we're dealing with. Yes. And to realize that you can't do any better than that at a certain point in time. Yes. So it's not like to get yourself off the hook. Oh, well, I can't do it because of this. No, you may have to do it a little slower. It might take you a little more time. If you're able to get help, that's always a wonderful thing. Sometimes a solopreneur may be in a place where they can't afford the help initially. Maybe they can't afford it. Like, I really don't have the money to pay anybody. Okay, well, if that's the case, we need to focus on how maybe yourself can become more efficient. How can I use the time that I do have more productively? how can I use it more more intentionally, if you will, so that since this is all the time I have, then hey, let me be better at using my time. So that's a very important dimension to take into account. You may not have more time, but you can use the time better. So
Yes.
once you're open to that, then you're going to start to explore ways that you can indeed become more effective and more efficient. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to always be aware of what are the things that literally move the needle on whatever you're doing. So you may be busy doing this or busy doing that, but is it going to have a direct impact? And one example would be, say, social media. So we know we want to get on here and post every day and whatever. And then we're like, but it's all my energy and I don't see anything, whatever. So you want to have some kind of strategy with that too. Maybe if you can't come on every day, can you come on 3 days a week? Can you come on twice a week until you can maybe do more? And or if you're coming on every day, well, maybe can you batch in advance 5 days of content so you don't have to be stressing every day about it. So there are ways to address certain things. And then when you post that content, is it really geared towards people doing something that is going to help you move that proverbial needle? First of all, you got to know what is the needle you want to move. So understanding what is that, I like to say, the key KPIs, the key performance indicators, and that's something we've been working on in my whole Supercharge Club and Supercharge CEO with people, is saying what are the key performance indicators in your business that you're measuring. When you say you have a goal, what is the metric associated with that goal? If it doesn't have some kind of metric, then it's just up there and you can't hold yourself accountable. So what can you hold yourself accountable for that will make a difference? And once you have that clarity, then even if other things come along and get in the way, at least you're on the right track. And getting assistance where you can, if you can, whether it's paid or free. There are a lot of free resources people can avail themselves to. YouTube, they can go check out at Supercharge Coach on YouTube and check out all my babblings. But I mean, these things that we're talking about, I talk about it every week in my Momentum Monday and share that. And so people can learn that way too. And then you get more precise help as you move along. But I would definitely, those are some of the tips I would share.
Oh gosh, I love that so much. Like I remember in one of our masterminds, you had spoken and I said, it feels like you're my sister because it feels like we think alike. And I love what you just said about setting a goal. And the reason why this is so important is because if you don't set a goal, you keep moving the goalpost.
Exactly.
For example, you have to define what your financial goal is. So for example, if your goal is, I want to hit 10K months, define that goal so that when you get to that goal, you can relax and say, and be at peace that you've reached that goal. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't set a higher goal. Yes, you would if you want. But I find that many people are stuck in this phase of constantly wanting. I want more money. I want more clients. And people keep wanting and wanting, and they are missing life. They spend all their life wanting, and life passes them by. And so this is one of the things I talk about my podcast, Joyful Money, how to make money in a joyful way. So when you don't get to 80 years old, and then you realize you don't have good relationship with your children, you don't have good relationship with your spouse, your health is in the toilet, and then you have all this money in your bank account. So setting a goal and living the phase of constantly wanting more money, more clients, more this, more that, I think is robbing people of the joy of life. So I like how you said set a goal. And so having that goal post is very important. I mean, it's been a joy. Like, look at how time flies.
Joy, if you don't mind, I would love to make one more point to piggyback on what you said, which is so essential. The word that keeps popping into my head is the whole gratitude thing. I know people say gratitude, whatever all day. But it is true, to taking the time to be content in the state you're in. I mean, St. Paul tells us whatever state you're in, be content. But that doesn't mean you're complacent. I mean, there's a difference between contentment and complacence. So you're striving towards being better, but you appreciate where you are. You appreciate being small, starting small, because one day you're going to be like, oh, those were the good old days. And you appreciate, and I'll end with a quick story. When I was first starting my business, my bag business, Kasuri, with my sister, designing stylish laptop bags and travel accessories, we wish for the day when we'll get like 100 orders. It'll be so amazing. That day came, and we were ill prepared for it. We were featured on a news thing in New York, and the phone started ringing. The orders came in, and we were like, what are we gonna do? How do we fill the orders? And next day aired, to Express. So we were going kind of nuts. Our dream came true, but it became a nightmare instantly because we didn't know how to handle it. So people understand, and you have to create the systems. We didn't have the systems ready for such an influx of orders. We did not have that in place. So think about what success really looks like. You're looking for a certain number. Do you have the infrastructure to handle that number? Maybe it needs to be a smaller number until you scale it. And taking your time doesn't mean you're not succeeding. It's that progress which is the success and forward momentum. So all of those things to tell people to be encouraged. If you have something placed on your heart that you feel the marketplace needs, then you will be motivated, even though some days maybe not. But for the bigger picture, you will. And surround yourself with people like Joy and her joy of money, and being motivated in the process to keep your momentum high and stabilized. Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. I couldn't have said it better myself. Emily, we have to do this again. I know we are both very busy people, but I love this so much. We have to do this again.
It was lovely. And it's wonderful the people that were listening. Selena over there, Cultivator, St. Mac, anyone who was able to listen, get her done. I think I saw her. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you back here on the next live.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hey, very quickly before you go, if you are ready to finally fix your relationship with money so that you make lots and lots of it while feeling joyful, abundant, free, and fulfilled, then I invite you to join my 2-day Income Accelerator event where I will personally teach you how to accelerate your income while having more joy in your life. And did I mention it's free? Yes, it's free. The link is in the show notes. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.